Welcome to the Author's Corner with A.C. Campbell. Join us as we take a tour around the literary industry with interviews and features within and throughout the industry. And now, the show. Welcome to the second episode of an all-new double episode of the Author's Corner. Happy 4th. I hope you all are doing wonderful. This episode will be another non-interruption episode. We'll be talking to Verona Willis Brown. We're going to be talking about writing, the fact that we are, even though we're authors, we're still writers. So we still have to call ourselves writers. We're going to be talking about the industry, and she gets very deep on us. So without further ado,
let's start in the beginning. So, you're an author. What started you on the author trip?
I don't consider myself an author. I consider myself a writer. Because there's a big difference between a writer and an author. I'm a writer because I've been writing as long as I can hold a pencil. I remember as young as probably 2, I was holding a pencil. So I was always writing. So writing was always my big thing. I have to write. So English language was always my favorite subject. Mathematics was my worst because that didn't require a lot of writing. So nair. So I always have this thing to write. And then I developed writing more as I became a mother because I wanted my daughter to follow the same path, write. Because there's something about writing. Writing releases your inner vibration and the inner energy. So it releases a lot. When my mother died in 2005, the only way for me to heal myself and express myself was to write how I felt, was to write everything that I want my mother back. I miss my mother. I love my mother. And those days were like therapy to me, like get it out of your system because I couldn't talk to nobody. Like I feel like nobody was understanding me. I always feel like I'm in a bubble where nobody could understand my words. So when I write, it was more understanding, it was clearer. So I write and here I am. My writing just developed over the years and brought me to being a published author, as you say.
You know what? No, I actually felt every word you said simply because of the fact that you go from writer to author seems so final to where, okay, I don't have to write unless I want to. But which is so untrue for us. We write all the time.
What is that?
We're writers. So yeah, see?
Writing, for instance, man, I have my pen and my notebooks. They sit everywhere. They are my best friends.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. So no, I'm going to correct myself. Even though she has authored some books, she is a forever writer.
Yes.
And we all should be forever writers.
Yes, please do. It's therapeutic. That's number one. And like I said, it releases so much, number 2. And you no matter what you're going to do, no matter what profession you're going to pick up, writing is essential as we are using essential. As we use this word so fluidly since last year, essential. Writing is essential, just the same thing as reading. So I'm a reader and I'm a writer. And then authors in the middle.
I want to ask you this question because this is a little bit about all of us. See, like you, edit math, love writing. I write all the time. And writing is so essential in our everyday lives. And people just don't realize.
Yeah.
I mean,
I write every day. I literally write every day. Even if you have to write 2 lines, write something. Write something because there's a communication between you, the pen or pencil, and your paper. And there's a little relationship going on there. And it's not the same thing as typing now, because a lot of people confuse typing on their phone or typing on the computer with writing. But no, there's an energy between your fingers and your pen. There's an energy that flows there. Not typing. There's a difference there too.
You know, ever since I was 12, when I first really got into writing, I would always buy out my corner store's notebooks and pens, always writing something.
Yes.
And it's a practice that still isn't lost on me today. I'm still buying up notebooks, writing things down, writing stories. What are some of the things that you like to write about?
I write about life because I would call myself a journalist because I buy journals just about every single time I see a journal, I get it. Right now, I'm looking at probably 4 journals in front of me. So I would say I'm a journalist because I buy journals. So I write about every single thing there is, everything. You could take me into finance, you could take me emotionally, you could take me spiritually, you could take me sexually. Whatever it is, I am going to write. I am going to write.
Honestly, I love about it. So basically, things you see, things you talk about, things just around.
Yes, life is not one section. Life is not one section. So I live my life where it's not one section. I don't box myself in. I spread myself out. So if I'm going to write, why would I write on one topic? If I'm going to be a writer, and if I am a writer, which I am truthfully am, I don't pick one topic. I write about everything. So you want to give me a topic, I'm going to write about.
Oh, see, I love you. You're that one person that'll see. And don't and some people consider it a negative way. Don't consider it a negative way. You're that type of person who, when somebody asks, well, what genre do you write? And you're that type of person, you won't go off on them, but you'll kind of correct them completely. It's like, I don't write any genre. What are you talking about? I just write.
I'm a writer. You can't limit a writer.
If you want to box yourself into a genre, go around the head, but no, we're writers.
Writer, there's no limit to writers. You write. Right? That's what it is. If you are a writer, how can you limit yourself to writing? There's no such thing. And that's why you're a writer. We write everything. So that's how I just expand myself. Right.
Yeah,
is that right or right? Right or right? Am I right or am I wrong? I write.
You know, once upon a time I was asked a question, and my question is always no, but when I was first asked this question, looked at the person kind of weird, like, do you ever get writer's cramp or writer's? No, I don't get writer's anything. When you love to write, it's always there. What about you? Do you get blocked or the feeling where you don't want to write or?
I'm going to tell you about that because I oftentimes hear this word writer's block. And I don't consider that word a negative thing. I don't consider it a negative thing because writer's block for me, for my meaning for writer's block, is where you need to pause a second and recharge. So if I am writing every day, and then today I feel like I don't want to write. It's not that I don't have anything to write because I'm always having something to write. I just want to recharge. And when I recharge, I put myself into some music. Or I go for a walk and speak with nature. And then come back and I write. So for me, I don't call it writer's block because it's just a moment of recharging.
I want to ask you a personal question. This mainly for me to ask. This is something that I love. Music a lot of times, excuse me, music a lot of times, I love listening to music when I write. A lot of times, a lot of things I write get affected by music. Do music affect the way you write sometimes?
No, music adds on to what I write. Because music stimulates my brain. Music stimulates my brain. So I gotta have music. I have music start me, music finish me. I think I probably was conceived in music. I don't know. And I'm going to say maybe I was conceived with music because my name by itself was named from a song. So I guess music just like, it just stays within me, okay? It stays within me. So since I discovered that my name was given to me from the title of a song, I guess music is my birthright. So music does something to me. So I gotta have my music. When I write, yes, yes. So it's a great contribution to me and my writing.
Where have you been all my life? I mean, I love it. I'm serious, man. I love this. Just love the energy. I love the attitude about there's approaching right. So I'll tell you what. We as writers and authors take ourselves so seriously a lot, and where we shouldn't, to where we have this gift, we have this talent, and we can do so much more. Except we do put ourselves in boxes. We do take ourselves too seriously. How do you stop yourself from doing that?
Otherwise, I'm sorry.
How do you stop yourself from taking yourself? How do you stop from taking yourself too seriously and putting yourself into a box?
I don't take myself seriously. I'm a fun girl. I laugh with myself. I talk with myself. So I don't take myself seriously. But at the end of the day, any message that I give, I want you to take it serious. Because my whole thing is, anything I do is not for me. Anything I do is for somebody else. So I don't take myself seriously. No. Because when I take myself seriously, I'm putting that little stop moment. They're like, nah, laugh about something, carry on. I'm one of those people that I just carry on. People might say, oh, you're just crazy. No, I just carry on. I'm one of those people.
You know, I don't like that people like when you're free, they want to call you crazy. No, you're just free.
I'm just free, okay? And if you're not feeling free, and I'm going to go into this because you see, you have to feel free emotionally, mentally, for you to just have that attitude. Because if you're not free emotionally, oh well, oh well. But I am free emotionally and mentally. So yeah, I'll carry on. So why take life seriously?
You know,
Something.
But now I want to talk about the book. Are you free enough?
See that, and that throws us right there, because I am free enough.
Now explain it a little bit to me.
So let me go into that, because first I want to show you what the cover looks like. The cover is like this.
Ooh, I like that.
That's the cover, okay? And if you look behind me, you see something similar to the cover.
Something about love.
Something about love. And if you look, you see like a bunch of butterflies going behind me. The same thing on the book. You see a bunch of butterflies going.
Mm.
So let me talk a little bit about the butterfly before I get into the book. The butterfly is the only creature on earth that survived death and become something beautiful. The only creature. The process of becoming a butterfly is the hardest. It's the hardest thing. But when you become a butterfly, you cannot return to a cocoon. You have no way of return because you become free. You're flying, you're stopping, you're flying. But most of the time, a butterfly doesn't stop. Most of the time, a butterfly is going and going and going. And that's my place in life. I am going. I already passed the cocoon states. I've already survived that death to write this book. I already did all of that. So my mental state of mind is free. My emotional state of mind is free. My spiritual state of mind is free. I am free. So the book, let us jump a little bit in the book. The book is as number 2. It's a second of, I wouldn't call it a series, it's the second part of the first book. The first book was called Are You Free Enough? This is called Are You Free Enough number 2. And what happened with this book, with the book, is It surrounded circumstances, life circumstances. And one of life circumstances that we so face, that we so see every day, that we've been seeing every day is called an affair. A love affair, a marital affair, extramarital affair. That's something that's been going on since the beginning of time. It's been going on, and it's been going on. I draw the picture in this book of a love affair. And I wrote it on the other side of the sweetheart. Most likely you'll hear the wife's story. But here is what you call the sweetheart story. She spoke. She told her side. And she told her side as if nothing else matters. Nothing else was there between her and her man, because that was her man. He was a married man. Why didn't they show that? They were free. They were free adults. They were free enough to create their own love, their own relationship, their own moments. I am not encouraging love affair at no time at all. I am encouraging it. I am just putting it here that it's reality. It happened in the White House. It happened in Hollywood. It happened in the church. It happened in the school. It happened in your home. So why not address it the way it is? Speak about it the way it is. And that's what I did with this book. I put it just as raw as possible in this book. I made it detail by detail of what is happening. Because I am a writer. I'm not only a writer, I'm a creative writer. So if you tell me your story, I'm going to make it very creative that you can relate to it. So you see creative stuff in here. You got explicit information here. A lot of explicit information is in this book, but that's not the point of the book. That is not the point of the book. The point of the book is for women to find their value, not to define themselves by another person, not to define themselves by the situation that they fall into or they got into, not for them to define themselves by what you think of them as a friend or as a family, but it's how they define themselves by themselves and their value. So it's a whole message in the book. So you will see section where explicit information between her and the man, the married man. You'll see section where she's having conversation with her friends who were judging her based on the decision that she made to have an affair with a married man. However, when you judge me on my situation, always remember that you have a situation. Always remember. And I'm going to say that again. When you judge me on my situation and my decision, just remember that you have a situation and you have a choice just the same. It might not be the same situation as mine, but you do have a situation. So you see, I put in here section where the friends are talking about her. But yet she threw it to them and said, listen, you are judging me based on the decision that I made. But what about your household? So I put that in there. Then I go where she's seeking to find her own love. She's trying to break up with this married man. Like I said, this is number 2. She broke up with the married man in book 1. And this was just a reunion. That's in the plan. This was a reunion. And then you see where she's trying to leave him again. She had a reunion moment. Yeah. And we know what is called makeup moment. So it was a makeup moment. But then in the end, because at the end of the day, we should all have a story. And we should not be remembered by the negative stories. we should always remember we have negative and positive. And at the end of this book, you see that she got the love that she deserved, not the love that she was looking for, because we could look for love anywhere, but the love that she deserved from her heart, the love that didn't add to her, that just add on to her happiness, because she was very happy. She was very, very happy. Let me tell you something about love. You loving someone, they're not the one that's coming to make you happy. You are making yourself happy by yourself. When someone gets into your life, you're adding on or they're taking on. And love is supposed to come in and add on to what you have on yourself. So the end result is she found that. She got that. And she embraced that. And it shows where she's saying, now I am free enough. I was free enough with the married man, but now I'm free enough to embrace life the way I was created to have that life. So know what love is. That's number one. Know what life is. Know that the life that you deserve, and you must know the life that you deserve. You must know the life that you deserve. So when I introduce people to my book, I am not telling you to just read the explicit information only. I am telling you there's a message in the book. Read the explicit, read the friendship, because you're going to see something about love, trust, friendship, faith, fear. All these emotions are in one book, but there's a full message of empowerment for women. Women, 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 you are valuable. You are valuable. You deserve more than what you think you deserve. So should I carry on? Because I could go on about.
You know what? I'll tell you this, because number one, I apologize. I can't stop smiling. I'm sorry. I mean, you just make me smile. So you just, I don't know what that's called, but
It's the aura, you know.
Right. So I just can't stop smiling. But to basically sum up your book, forget all of the logistics, forget all of the, forget everything else. She has a love defined by herself, not by any man, not by any relationship, not by the validation of friends. She has love. You can take out all these logistics and he's married and
Don't forget all of that. It's self-love.
right.
Self-love.
Exactly. So take away all that and you get her story, her
Yes.
everything.
Yes.
So all of that.
Yeah, because if you don't have self-love, you don't have no love at all. If you don't have self-love, what kind of love are you seeking? Because the way you feel about yourself is what's going to attract somebody else to you. The way you sit right there and say, I am making you smile because the energy that I have for myself, because I love myself, I smile to myself every day like, hey, and that's why you're smiling. Because I smile to myself every day. I love me some me, okay? I love me some me. And that's what is radiating to you, the love that I have for myself. Somebody should know when you should know how you feel about you. You should know how to take you in. You see, they used to call this word conceit, but it's not so. It's not so. It's called self-confidence. It's called self-confidence. And you should know that you have self-confidence. And when you look at it, people are coming up, and we have generation coming up. We have generation coming up, and they're struggling into finding their self. They're struggling into finding who they are. See, I'm here to serve you. I'm here to let them know, listen, if you don't know who you are, No one will know who you are. No one. You don't have to be searching through a man, a woman, boy. You don't have to search into nobody to validate who you are. You have to seek that for yourself. And when you seek that, is only when you find that, you have to be in alignment with who created you. When you're in alignment, oh yes, you're good. Because the next person can't define you.
You know, I'm going to tell you something. I want you to take this exactly as I tell you this. You are a highly confident, very beautiful woman that is so easy for a guy to fall in love with. But you didn't need me to tell you that because you already know that.
I know that.
Which is not conceited at all. It's actually the energy that you portray in everything that you do.
Yeah. I laugh about that because I just told someone this. I said, I feel like I'm a honeysuckle.
I love that. I love
So I laugh about it because I just had this conversation a couple of days ago. I said, I feel like I'm like a honeysuckle, like a little bee. I feel like I'm a honeysuckle. Like, yeah, I go outside and I have trouble with these men falling over me. And I'm like, hello, do I need a bodyguard? But I do have a bodyguard. They just can't see.
Well, I will tell you this though. I love that. But it also helps you that, like you say, besides bodyguard, that you are confident in yourself to say, hey, I know what I want, I know what I don't want.
Yes, absolutely. Because, like I said, I could say the honeysuckle, but a honeysuckle, the lady bee know exactly who to entertain.
You see, this is like so. So here's the whole thing. We can go beyond the writing. Everything you do. Years ago, a pastor at the church we used to attend told us this one thing: no matter what you do, do it in excellence. You do everything in excellence 100-fold. And I love that.
I want to touch on that because that's me now. But it's what people don't know about me is it took me a while to get that. It took me a while to get to this moment because it's a process. Life is a process. Because you see, I was that single mom who struggled first with self-confidence, first with doubt, first with every kind of thing you think of negative. So it was a process for me to get here. So I was that single mom, by the age of 20, I was struggling out there. I was that lady who knew what it is to eat the crumbs from my daughter's plate, not having enough food, or living at home with my parents in shame and disappointment, and knowing one day I think I have to feel better than this. I can't live through this. Like, I can't live through disappointment and shame like this for the rest of my life. My father was very disappointed in me when I got pregnant because, you see, parents have expectations for their children. And he wanted me to excel. So now I excel in his name. I excel in his legacy. Because no, they passed. But I carry their legacy just like this, in excellence. Because that's what they wanted from me. That's what they wanted. So I carry it because I got over the fear as I lived through a life and program myself and align myself into who I am. And saying, who is Verona? I couldn't find out who Verona is because you know what happened? I was mommy. I never had a name. I didn't know who Verona was. For years, I was mommy. So if you're out there and you're mommy, that's just a title. That's just a title. And I was a mommy title for many years. But now I am Verona.
I'll tell you what, you're the baddest Verona I have ever seen. I'll tell you that.
A lot, because that's why I'm unique.
But I will tell you this a little more seriously though. What is so excellent about you is when you found yourself, you still, while finding yourself, you still refuse to let others define you.
That's it. That's it. How you gonna define me when I know who I am? You can't define me. I already defined me. I already defined what I found me. And you see, when I thought I couldn't find me, I found me. And when I thought I couldn't love no more, I found love for myself. When I
Right.
thought I gave all my love to my daughter and I ran out of love, I found one more section of love, and that was for me, and it was called self love. Seek to find self love. Because when you find self love, nobody can define you. There's no such thing. No, you can't define me. You can't validate me either. Nuh-uh. Can't validate me. You see, I want to go back in my book for a quick second. Can I read something from my book?
Oh yeah.
I want to read something from I want to read something from my book.
Mhm.
Because there's a section in my, I'm telling you, there's so many stuff in here. There's so many juice in this book. And there's a section that I put in there, and it's called the good girls, the good girl section. It's called and that section, when I read that section, it took me aback, and I said, am I a good girl or am I just a wild girl? And the section is called good girl vibration. So let that sink in just a second. You're right, you can get something to drink. Exactly. You can get something to drink. You can turn on your AC. I mean, I have 6 degrees right here, so it's not so bad today. You can turn on your AC, or you can get yourself a piece of paper and fan, whatever you gotta do, because I'm gonna tell you a little bit about the good girl vibration section in this book.
Mm.
So you could just sit back. I love to read. So I was always a vivid reader to my daughter, so I love when I have to read to somebody else. So sit back, relax, and let me read to you. Good girl vibration is the place for wild girl behavior. Good girls can serve a man what he asks for and more, while a wild girl will give a man more than what he asks for. Why? Because you see, a wild girl knows the routine while a good girl studies the behavior of the man she's with and those that are lusting after her. She knows how to support and understand her man far ahead of his thoughts, as well as deliberately carry a man out of his committed world and seduce him. Good girls? Oh, yes, there are good girls that are gone wild only behind closed doors, who opens their mouth and take in what they never dreamt, speak of, or what was never taught, but only experienced. Good girls are fuckers that will take you out of one world and create another world for you. A good girl will let a man's spine tingle at the very first touch of her hands and sound of her voice. Let his hair stand straight on his chest with a mind-blowing question of, how did she do that? On his lips. A good girl does not speak too much. She only exercises her freedom to create what she deserves. Ladies, if you are a good girl, then define your own meaning.
Yeah, I can understand why you haven't been drinking, fanning, and
I told you, turn on your AC, get your fan, whatever you got to do. I prepare you first. You know, I love to prep people ahead of time.
Oh, wow.
And that is a section in my book. And that's a good girl vibration section.
Well, you're just talking to me, but how have others reacted to your book so far?
Some people said it's about them, but I won't tell.
In fact, I'm going to tell you this. I actually ordered your books. I'm sorry. I was going to wait till the show to tell you, so wait for them to come in now. But ordered your books. I went on ahead, did a little research about it. You are, how can I say this without putting you in a box? You do something to your readers. I can put it like that. That kind of define what, you know what I'm talking about. You kind of define that.
That's me. That's the lady who, throughout the years, I didn't get those moments to express myself and to let my voice be heard. See, I grew up in a faith-based home, very conservative family. So I never get opportunities to express what I want to express and to let somebody else hear my voice, because I know the voice I have. I'm always the voice person since I was little, but I wanted someone to hear it. Like, can you just hear what I said? Because let me tell you something about this, Henry. I'm from a very big family. And if any one of your listeners know what it is to be from a big family, it's chaotic. You don't have a voice in a big family. You think you have a voice, but you don't have a voice, because the minute you start speaking, somebody's going to come and get you, and somebody's going to talk over you. So I'm on the bottom of the family. I'm on the bottom.
So continue on what you were saying. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. So I was saying that I'm from a big family, and I fall in the bottom of the family. When you fall in the bottom of a big family, your voice becomes minimal. Because the moment you try to say something, somebody else is going to talk over you. So I never get the moment. I know the voice I had. I know the voice I had inside. But I never had that moment to express it. Because somebody's always talking over me, blocking my voice. So now when someone says your voice, and I'm like, yes, my voice. Now I blush with it, because I said, yes, that's the voice I've been trying to get out all these years. Like, yes. I'm like, thank you for hearing my voice. I wanted somebody to hear my voice. Yeah.
And what a beautiful voice it is. I had a feeling, let you guys know, I met Verona during an author friend, Timothy Buchanan's town hall speech, and she and I was one of the moderators. She just asked so many awesome questions. Somebody was just she's somebody I wanted to get to know, which is what brought us here. And I'm not disappointed at all. I'm sorry. And yes, it may seem like I'm flirting a little bit. I'm sorry. Maybe.
I'll go right ahead. You're entitled to do that. Oh, please. Exactly. You're entitled to do that. No problem.
So
that's a part of life.
Oh, awesome. I love that. So my next question is, so much energy and everything. What's next? First let's backtrack a little bit. How many books have you written so far?
2. Because this is book 2 of book 1. Oh, I would have to get book 1 over there. But this is book 2. So you may ask if I am going to be writing another book, because it is a series. No, I'm not going to be writing a book 3. I try to let people know that there's not going to be a book 3. However, there will be a spin-off from this book. Yes, there will be a spin-off from this book. The reason being, the end of this book tells the story of how wonderful life became for the sweetheart, as we would say, that she developed herself and she found herself. But I want to touch a little bit about her in the spin-off. I want to talk, you'll see much of her in the book, but there's something that I want to reveal more about the life that she now has. So that would be the spin-off. I know you got exclusive to what it will be. So that will be the spin-off. I'm going to talk much about her now life. Yeah. So you get exclusive of what the content will be. So that I'm excited to write the spin-off on that.
So now my next question, sort of off topic, but how do you define true love?
True love is defined by you, defined as yourself.
I love that. Short, simple.
How you define it. Because first of all, you got to know what is truth. Because the word true comes from truth. Says you got to know what truth is. Here I talk about a love affair. They knew they had true love. This was an extramarital affair. They knew they had true love, but it was up to them how they define that word. You have to define that true love. But like I said, it goes back to you defining how you feel about yourself. Because everything starts and stops with you. Everything starts and stops with you. You know how people say, I want to marry my better half, or I marry my better half, or I married the love of my life, my true love. How is someone your better half when you don't even know your half? You got to make yourself whole first. You can't be my half. I'm not half of anything. I am a whole me. So you're not going to be my better half. Is that you're going to come in whole and I'm whole, and we're going to make two. So somewhere the scripture said two become one. I could go into that too, but I'm not going to go there. Because you see, you can't be no better half of nobody. No. You cannot be your own better half. Because me, I'm a whole person. I'm not one and a half. For you to come add your half and make me two? No, honey, you will not do that. No. I am not 1.5. I am one. Only one. One in a million. One. I'm just one. Unique, one. One, uno, one. Yes. There is no other Verona. Sorry. Oh, you might find somebody that named Verona, but there's no other me.
I'm gonna say, no need to say sorry. In fact, honestly, you don't even need to define yourself for anyone. If you feel you are one, you are one. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise.
Whatever language one is in is one. Whatever language you speak, first number is one. That's me, one. Okay? Nothing else. Yeah. So whatever language you speak out there, just start with the first number.
So my next question now is, I'm already talking to you from everything. How can someone else, your readers, anybody that wants to get to know you, can contact you?
Oh, that's easy. Because see, I don't go by author's name. I just go by Verona Willis Brown. And anywhere you type that name in, Verona Willis or Verona Willis Brown, you will definitely find me. If you Google that name, you're going to find me. So I'm everywhere. So you're going to find me. Send me a message. I might answer or I might not answer.
Yeah,
It depends on the It depends on the message.
Think about what you said. She might answer. She might not answer. Don't be trying to get on there being weird. You go on there.
Don't be sending me no weird stuff, okay? Because I look at weird stuff, and when weird stuff coming up, I'm like, block.
I love it.
I heard somebody say that they're in the block ministry. Oh yes, I am a part of that. Yes, honey. Yes, I'm in a part of that ministry. Block. They couldn't have put that word any faster on my phone.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful.
Block. No, and I'm not unblocking you. If I block you, you'll stay blocked. And don't try to find me no other way, because if I block you, I'm gonna block you one way or the other. Don't try and find.
Oh, you're gonna be blocked all over the internet by the time I'm done with you. So you better not come with no foolishness. Exactly.
Like don't listen. Listen, don't test me, okay? Like I said, I'm a honeysuckle. See, you don't mess with a lady bee. You don't mess with a lady bee, honey. You don't mess with a lady bee. You see, I'm going to tell you this. You see, I like not to put myself as a bee, but I like to put myself as a lioness. And let me tell you something, Henry. Let me tell you something about a lioness. You see, a lioness, every man can't be around a lioness. So first of all, a lioness is someone that rules. They hold their place. They know their position. They know their strength, and they know their weakness too. So everybody cannot associate themselves with a lioness. Because when a lioness roars, it shuts everything down. And when a lioness go to sleep, don't wake her up. Don't wake her up. But every woman, every woman is not a lioness. Let me tell you that.
No, I'm kind of this. Yeah, go ahead, wake her up, see what happens. I'm not gonna do it, but you can.
wake up a lioness and see what happens. It shuts down. Shuts down. Shuts you right down. Okay. But let me tell you, every woman is not a lioness now. It's only a few of us out there. There's only a few of us.
You know, usually when I do interviews, again, usually we authors are put into a box, we people are put into a box. Throughout this whole interview, and as you guys can see, this has been one of the more fun interviews because you're open, you talk about everything, you talk about yourself with confidence. I love that. So, of course, you're very easy to talk to. You're very easy to flirt with. You're a very easy person, period, because that's how God blessed you.
And he made only one of me. And I don't compete with nobody else. I don't compete with nobody else because it's only one of me. And even if I had a twin, I wouldn't even compete with that twin too. Because a twin, you still have your own identity. There's only one of me. You can't have nobody else like me. I'm gonna make things very easy for you, but don't let me use the same energy and make it hard. Because I could use the same energy. I have that power within me. The same way I could make it easy is the same way I could make it hard.
Yeah, I love that. So do you do any events for your books or any events as a writer, period?
I don't do events because, of course, you know what's going on. But I'm going to tell you what I just did. Ladies, if you're single, because I like to deal with the single ladies. I'm a single lady, a powerful single lady. Okay, so let me say that. Don't let that last name fool you. Don't let that little dash after Willis to Brown fool you. I'm a single, powerful lady. Okay, I won't even go into why I have two names there, but don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. Okay, but I just launched a podcast on Anchor, Spotify, Google, wherever podcast or here. For single ladies. I surround it for single ladies. And it's around my book. around my book. It's everything I do is about my book because my book is the base. And it is where I call single ladies to find themselves, to search and find themselves and come forth into their fullness the way I did. To come forth and know that they don't have to define themselves by their flaws and their failures and all that stuff. They don't have to define themselves by that. And they don't have to define themselves by titles. Find your true self. Your true self is not a title. Your true self is not a title. So every 6 days, there's a new episode popping up. And one of my favorite episodes that I did, because I'm doing it, but I'm not interviewing no one, because I like to talk and feed people. But you can feed someone, but they don't digest it. One of my favorite episodes was a couple episodes back, where I wrote a letter to myself. And we oftentimes don't do that. We don't talk to ourselves. We don't write letters to ourselves. So that was one of my favorite episodes. Write a letter to yourself, ladies, telling yourself, forgiving yourself of the things that you accept that was not pleasant, or the things that you allow someone to do to you that's not pleasant either. Because at the end of the day, you are the boss of you. And what you accept or what you dismiss, it's up to you. Because we all have a choice, Henry. We all have a choice. And you got to know who is breathing oxygen in your life or taking out oxygen for normalize, whichever. So that's one of my latest branch off from my book. And of course, I have a show called The Question, because it's called The Question, Are You Free Now? The show is called The Question. We are here every Thursday night live on Facebook. I interview creatives, not just authors. I interview creatives because I love creatives. I'm a creative. So I interview creatives. Bring your story, bring your book, bring your work, and just chat. And I just look at it like you're in my living room. Like, welcome to my home. And we talk about your book, but then we're going to have some questions. Because that's the name of it, The Question.
I love that. So here's the portion of the show now where I give you the final word. We've been doing this the whole time, but I want
Wait,
to
before you do the final word, I want to drop a couple questions.
Go ahead.
So a couple questions for my book, because I want people to write these questions down before I give my final word.
Go ahead.
And in my book, on page 262, because I'm going to be specific, I have a couple questions. And I want people to write these down when they watch this. And when they write it down, take your time and answer these questions. Question number 1. Does anything really stop, or is it a continuous journey? That's question number 1. Number 2, how free do you want to be? Number 3, how do you even know you are free? Number 4, where and when does your freedom comes from? And your final question is, what is freedom?
I love those questions. But no, before we go back, I'm just gonna say this is gonna be edges out. Oh no, you can read whatever you want to from your book. I'm loving this. Oh no, I'm loving this. No, you are good. So I just want to say that I'm gonna edit that part out. So go ahead, continue.
So my final thoughts.
Yes.
Or you want me to read some more? Because
you need to read some more. For your final thoughts, you need to read some more, give shout outs, you can give it, both people give advice or read excerpts, whatever it is you want to do, for yours.
All right, I'm going to read one more section and then I'll give my final thoughts.
Go ahead.
My friend, there's a quote below all those questions, and I'm still on the same page. So there's a quote that I put there. Well, it's not really a quote, but it's something that I put there. And it says, a man will choose to give a woman his time and space, and a woman can choose to accept it knowing the facts, not knowing the facts, or discovering the facts. Ladies, the choice always stands with how you decide. So with that said, I could give my final thoughts. Because my final thoughts, everything is a choice. Everything is a choice. From the moment you got on this earth, everything that is presented to you is a choice. The moment you got here and you could breathe, everything is a choice. The common person that's fighting for their life right now is choosing in their mind if they want to live. And the common person who cannot choose anything is the person who's dead. You have a choice today, because the choice that you make today is what will affect you tomorrow. Whether it's for good, bad, or ugly, it's going to affect you one way or the other. So because I stand in the position as a woman empowerment queen, I want to say to the queens out there, comfort out of your flaws, your failures, and your faults. Comfort out of all the scars. Comfort out of the titles, and find your true self. And when you so find your true self, know that you are the only one that can breathe that oxygen into the visions, into the dreams, into the goals, and into the purpose that you were created for. We are here to live a fulfilled purpose. If you are not living a fulfilled purpose, you are not living. End of story.